Well, you can see what picketing involves. I can't believe this line of questioning.
So,
I can't even see you. I don't even know who you are. So there you go. He's the most evil puppet made out of vinyl in the world. Is that the level journalism's at these days?
Oh my goodness. I really don't think you understand how excited I am to share this story with you and these series of clips. So I don't often cover UK politics and media, but when I do, there's a good reason. So this is a great reason to cover it. Mick Lynch has turned British media into a bowl of porridge. Whatever that means, I thought it was clever. But Mick Lynch is British Rail's union leader of the RMT union. And right now, rail workers are on strike there because they are being overworked and underpaid. And I'll have more on that in a minute. But I got to show you some of these clips. And the last clip, you have to stay. You must stay for the last clip, which is so incredible. Just stay. Just stay. It is insane. Completely insane. But let's first get to the first clip here, which is Mick Lynch discussing what this fight is all about.
Now, everybody wants our cities, towns and villages to recover. The way we do that, and one of the most important aspects of that, is by having a decent public transport system that can be relied on, is safe and accessible. Cutting staff, cutting services and cutting funding is the opposite to that, and nobody in our community should tolerate that from this government of billionaires who tell everyone else they've got to tighten their belts while they're raking it in.
So, of course, you don't have to be in the UK to relate to this. This is a scenario that people are living all across the world. Elites at the top of society are telling you to work more hours and budget better. Meanwhile, they're the ones reaping all the profits from the money that you generated as the working class. So this strike is about that. And before I get to the details around why they were striking and what they're asking for, I just want to quickly show you this. This is a recent poll showing majority say rail strikes this week are justified. A third say they are not. So I'm showing you this because when you get to the media clips, it's going to become clear what their marching orders are. They have to turn this around. They have to make the public hate this strike. They have to side with the fat cats and once again side against the working class. So even though all the media right now in the UK, at least the vast majority of it, is treating this as some crazy thing, oh, how dare they strike for better conditions and higher pay when they're keeping society going. Meanwhile, the majority of people are already on their side, on the side of the workers. Now, in terms of this fight, so this is a great piece. I'll link to it below as I link to all my sources, but I will summarize it briefly. But their headline here, we don't want chaos, the real reasons young RMT workers are striking. So they write, because of the patchwork and privatized nature of Britain's railway system, the strike involves several different companies, meaning that many of the people striking face different challenges at work and have different demands involving pay, pensions, working conditions, and more. But in coming together as a collective, they are supporting one another in their struggles. Below, 4 young RMT members share their own reasons for striking and explain why this is such an important cause. All right, so before I get to more clips from the incredible Mick Lynch, I'm just going to quickly go over here some of the issues that they are facing and what they're asking for. So when it comes to the catering staff, let me just zoom out a little bit here. The catering staff are understaffed. They work long hours, sometimes over 12 hours a day, and they are relied upon in terms of working overtime. So working their normal hours is not normal. In fact, working overtime is normal. So they are essentially deeply understaffed and really need help with that. The cleaning staff, some of them are homeless, even though they're working 6 hours a day, sleeping in bus shelters. They don't get subsidized travel, unlike some of the other workers that do, which cuts into their pay even more, making their low pay even worse. And some of them travel by bus because of that, and it actually takes them hours to get to work traveling by bus. And all they're asking for is £15 an hour, sick pay, and help with travel expenses. Maintenance staff, they want to protect their pensions, so their pensions are potentially at risk. Train dispatcher here, they want higher pay, and some are living on food stamps. So those are just a few examples of what they're dealing with, and there's more of a breakdown here from the RMT union Twitter page that goes over how they were, called heroes, and now they're not being treated well at all, being overworked, understaffed, underpaid, and just what they're asking for here in terms of what's going on in the whole situation there. So I'll link to that below the video as well. But I want to show you now a clash that Mick Lynch here had with a Labour MP. And then I'll also show you what happened the next day when Mick wasn't on, how they were talking about him. But first here, check out this interaction.
Should Labour MPs be on the picket line or not?
It's up to an individual Labour MP what they do. I'm not going to tell Kate what she should or shouldn't be doing.
Did Keir Starmer say to you and other frontbenchers not to join the picket line?
Keir Starmer made it clear that for the shadow cabinet, and it was not helpful for us to be on the picket line, and he's absolutely right. We shouldn't be putting ourselves in positions that make this worse. We are getting up every day trying to make lives better for our constituents.
All right, well, let's
we
put
want
that
to be in government.
Well, let's see if Mick Lynch agrees
group.
with you. What do you say to what you just heard from Jenny Chapman in terms of what the Labour Party's position is towards these strikes?
Well, the Labour Party was founded by the trade unions. In fact, it was founded by my trade union, the original resolution. So that's ironic, because we're not affiliated. And one of the reasons we're not affiliated is because Labour politicians since Blair have not identified with working class people. And failing to do that is one of the problems they've got in working class communities, and they've left the door open to populists and others to come into the situation. The Labour Party is about supporting working people, or it should be, not triangulating from opinion makers such as the Daily Mail and the Telegraph and the Times. So they've got to sort out their identity, and they've got to come up with a set of policies that are going to relieve working class poverty, are going to give us a stable workplace with good conditions and good minimum standards. That's what the Labour Party should be about. I welcome anyone that wants to join us on our picket lines and show us messages of support.
All right, well,
if Keir Starmer can't do that, that's a problem for him, not for us.
Jenny?
But Keir Starmer wants to be Prime Minister. And in order to get that job, he needs to show that he's the sort of person who wants to resolve these kinds of disputes. And actually, Mick, you don't know anything about my background or my community or where I come from. So,
I can't even see you. I don't even know who you are. So there you go.
Well, there you go. So, don't tell me who I am and whether or not I'm working class or whatever, any of those sorts of things.
I didn't tell you you weren't working class. I don't even know your name.
Well, shouldn't you, Mick? She's, Jenny Chapman, she's on Labour's front bench.
Yeah, but I can't see her because I'm sitting in a remote studio.
No,
I don't know who I'm talking
all right.
to or how many of you there are.
That's not really the point.
Oh, my God. Mick Lynch does not take your bullshit. Now, I'm going to get to how they talked about him the next day when he wasn't there. And I'll also show you the incredible, insane clip at the end. But, so, look at the Labour MP there, which, by the way, Labour MP, founded by Labour, the Labour MP, saying that Keir Starmer wants to be Prime Minister. That's why he can't stand with the working class and must stand with the capitalist elites. Especially when the public is at least initially on the side of this strike. I mean, the reason why they're standing with the capitalist elites is because they are themselves, at least Keir Starmer and those around him, the capitalist elites. Now, there are members of Labour that did, in fact, go out and stand with the striking workers. And guess what happened? This just came out from The Guardian. Labour frontbenchers who joined rail strike pickets pressed to apologize. MPs who defied Keir Starmer's order to stay away from striking RMT workers may be disciplined for attendance. Labour MPs disciplined for standing with Labour. No wonder he has been a complete disaster. This is a perfect example of that. Now, look, I get the inconvenience around, the train's not running. I get it. I get that can be an inconvenience for people. But society should be standing up with the working class. If you want people to stand with you, understanding as well that you are not elite, maybe you are the elite, then fuck off. But if you're not one of the elites at the top of these companies, then understand this collective action is incredibly important for society to function and ensure that there isn't a massive, even more massive disparity between the rich and the poor. So while understanding the impact on your day-to-day life, you have to also understand that in the long run, these workers are standing up for your rights as well. In addition to just they're standing up to improve the rail system and the way things operate. So that's also part of the strike, not just about their conditions, but generally about the conditions of this industry. And on top of that, the media's job is supposed to be speaking truth to power. But instead, of course, once again, they are simply a mouthpiece for the elites. And what better example than how this same host treated Lynch the next day on her program when he wasn't there.
Since we've mentioned Mick Lynch himself, he's trending on Twitter, lucky him, social media. Moya, are your union barons back?
Union barons? No, I think collective action is back. I think we keep talking about Mick Lynch as an individual because the way that our media is set up is we focus on one person.
Nothing to do with Mick Lynch himself?
I mean, he's fantastic.
Right.
I think he's a wonderful speaker.
Do you not think he's promoting himself in exactly that way?
I think no. I think he's the union boss. Every single media programme has invited him on to speak for the union, but he's representing a big ballot. The union ballot's got, I think, over 80% of people voting for strike action. That's more than voted in, like, the general election as a percentage. That's a far bigger political mandate than any of our politicians have.
Is it healthy for this to become a personality contest between Mick Lynch and Boris Johnson?
What the hell is this line of questioning? Union baron? I'll get to who the barons are in a second here. But union baron, personality contest, who's the one trying to generate this narrative? You. You are. You are trying to turn this into a personality contest. Not Mick Lynch. He's talking about the working class. He's talking about people being overworked, underpaid. People that are living in bus shelters, sleeping in bus shelters because they can't afford rent. Are you insane? Union baron? Here are the barons. So, by the way, there's like a million clips of Mick Lynch, just like demolishing media that I actually have to cut clips out because there are too many of them. But here's a quote from one of those clips where Mick Lynch from the union points out that during COVID, in the worst year of revenue on the railway, the private rail companies extracted £500 million in profit. 500 million in profit during one of their worst years in revenue. That's the scandal, not working people fighting against real-term pay cuts during a cost of living crisis. Yet, where is the media anger about that? Why aren't they discussing the actual barons, those at the top of these companies stealing from the working class, the ones generating this profit for them? Yet, those same workers sleeping in bus shelters, underpaid, working over 12 hours a day. It is just disgusting how the media tries to form these narratives. It really is gross. Now, there's two more clips. So I thought there was one more clip. There's two more clips. Here is an interaction between Mick Lynch and someone in the media. And look at again, the narrative here that they try to generate.
The government is saying that they are going to bring in agency workers. My question to you is, I'm guessing that some of your members will still stay on the picket lines. What will they do if agency workers try to cross those picket lines?
Well, we will picket them. What do you think we'll do? We run a picket line and we'll ask them not to go to work. Do you not know how a picket line works?
What if they do anyway? I very much know how a picket line works. I'm much older than I look, Mr. Lynch. What will picketing involve?
Well, you can see what picketing involves. I can't believe this line of questioning. Picketing is standing outside the workplace to try and encourage people who want to go to work not to go to work. What else do you think it involves?
And what if they want... Well, I just wondered what else it might involve, because I very well remember the picket lines of the 1980s,
where are you going with your...
Mr. Lynch. I'm asking you what your members would do, Mr. Lynch.
Which picket lines are you talking about?
The miners' strikes. Miners' strike.
Yeah. Well, does it look like the miners' strike? What
no,
are you
it doesn't,
talking
Mr.
about?
Lynch, and I'm just asking, I'm just to clarify.
Seems to have gone off into
I'm
the
just
world
trying
of
to
the
clarify.
surreal.
Oh my God. Oh my God. That was so funny that he even got the reporter to laugh, because she knows she is trying to generate a narrative that does not exist. He turns around. Does this look like the miners' strike? There's like 3 people there holding signs. So I'll get to more on the miners' strike aspect of this in a second, but my God, look, and by the way, I'll get to that last clip. It's worth it. I'm telling you, it's worth it. Stay for the last clip. But just this, again, like, what does she want him to say? They are on strike. They're picketing. Like, clearly she wants him to be like, well, if anyone crosses the line, we're going to bash their face in and eat their brains. Like, he's not, they're on strike. That's what's happening. It's very peaceful, as you can see. And in terms of the miners' strike, yes, I'm sure she does remember the propaganda that she was sold. As from the conversation here, war on the picket line, how the British press made a battle out of the miners' strike. Coverage of the strike amounted to a, quote, propaganda assault on the miners. So there were clashes between The cops attacked striking workers back in the 80s, and the media came out on the side, of course, of the police. So the media aligning with Thatcher, once again aligning with the powerful, as opposed to aligning with the working class, aligned with the powerful, aligned with the police against people that were losing their livelihoods. That's what happened. And this, of course, is not even anywhere near that. Like, there's no clashing, there's no attacking going on, at least right now. But unbelievable. Now let's get to the last clip. This is the last clip. It's worth it because it's Piers Morgan. The Piers Morgan Show. And Piers Morgan, he has on Lynch, and he has got him. He's found it. He's discovered the way to take Lynch down. And Lynch has no escape.
What I believe is your Facebook page. I want you to confirm or deny if this is your Facebook page. It's a picture of the hood from Thunderbirds.
Can you see the likeness?
Well, I'm just wondering where the comparison goes, because he was obviously an evil, criminal, terrorist mastermind, described as the world's most dangerous man who wreaked utter carnage and havoc on the public.
Is that the level you're pitching this at, Piers? That is a joke amongst me and my friends, and you can see the likeness, if you like.
So you're not denying that you are comparing yourself to the hood?
I'm not comparing myself to anyone. I'm me.
You've literally made your profile picture the hood. And I'm simply saying, I was a massive...
What? If it was a bunch of flowers,
Thunderbirds fan, and the hood was the most dangerous, evil person in the world.
He's the most evil puppet made out of vinyl in the world. Is that the level your journalism's at these days?
I simply asked you if that was you. It makes me laugh, honestly, that you have the hood as your profile pic, because that's a man who wreaked havoc on the world.
Well, it makes me laugh that your level of journalism has descended so far that you can't think of any other question rather than a thing about the Thunderbirds.
I didn't put that picture on your profile page.
Yeah, but you've chosen to spend 2 or 3 minutes of this interview talking about an irrelevance.
I could watch that all day. All day. Because of how stupid Piers is, because of how incredible the response is from Lynch there. He's the most evil puppet made out of vinyl in the world. It's just... There's nothing for them to work with here. They have to go to his Facebook page and take what is clearly a joke, because yes, he clearly does look like that character from the Thunderbirds, and use that as like, oh, because he has this in his Facebook page, that means he wants to be as evil as that character is in the show. Are you fucking kidding me? Good God. And by the way, Piers spent at least 3 minutes on that. I'm not even joking. I had to cut out a part of the clip because it was too long. They just kept going. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable how terrible British media is. It really is unbelievable. So amazing. But that's what's going on. When the working class actually stands up to fight, this is what happens. And this is exactly why you need somebody as strong as Mick Lynch is there at the top. Whether it's unions, whether it's lawmakers, I would like some lawmakers to maybe take some notes here from how Lynch is acting. This is how you treat the media. This is how you discuss these issues. This is how you actually connect with people. Lynch has done a fantastic job doing that.